3, and we're live after 2 weeks now. We're back on the Sunday Collective. How are you feeling? What's the vibe check?
The vibe check is it's a beautiful day. I just went out and got a nip in the air, and it's wonderful and fresh and bright and green all over.
Green all over for Mother Nature.
Yeah, and the lovely earth colors.
Earth colors, yes, Ma. And so what is that little bright spark in your day or your weekend that you'd like to share with us so that we can all connect to
The
that
last
twinkling?
2 weeks have been majorly like watching the planet in its preparedness, sharing with us all the rays of the different planets and Mother Earth turning herself and the sun and the moon reciprocating, and lots of good fortune energies coming down for a lot of people. And of course, some people are having comme ci comme ça episodes, and some people also having a bad time. I'm not saying that everybody is perfectly placed, but even the people who are having the bad time are going to resurrect themselves after 9th of February. And the Mother Earth is reciprocating as the rays of light are coming down. And Mother Earth's rays of light are also coming from her heart in the womb of Mother Earth. And so I've been watching, and it's very mesmerizing. And I think that the universe is very prepared, and we have to be spontaneous in absorbing this energy. And where can we absorb it? We can focus on it at the top of our heads, and we can request the beautiful lotus, the 1,000-petaled lotus, the Sahasra chakra at the top of our head to be open, or we can visualize a funnel that is, pouring this energy into us. And of course, visualize this energy growing from your feet, your ankles, calves, knees, thighs, lower torso, the chest, the arms, and the head. And then you'll be filled with this spontaneous energy of wellness. And then you'll spontaneously share it with others. Or you'll be prepared to share it with others. Finally, it's, I think that there is a very wide chasm between preparedness and spontaneity.
Oh, wow.
But for a healer, it's very, very, it's like a fine line.
Okay.
That the minute that the healer is prepared and is spontaneous to share. But other people will meditate and they will think, should I do it? Should I not do it? Will I have sufficient left for myself? And I'm reminded of a very, very sweet story about this very, very rich man who had built this beautiful house in a neighborhood. And he had got rich, and, he had rebuilt his house. And everybody was very, very envious, especially his neighbor next door. So the neighbor used to take buckets of his garbage and the rubbish from his house and would go and throw it into his driveway and would leave it, he would prepare all that garbage every day, and then he would just wait for that man to get angry and spontaneously come and quarrel with him. And then he would show the world how bad this rich man was in the neighborhood. And so this continued for many, 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 many days. And so one day the rich man woke up to find that his whole driveway was filled with the garbage. Because every day it was like 1 bucket, 2 buckets, 3 buckets, and maybe 21 buckets of garbage he had collected. So then he noticed that in the driveway, the gentleman was coming out, he used to keep watching and peeping and seeing. So he found that he also had a bucket in his hand. So he said, wow, I really got him. So then he rang the bell. The rich neighbor rang his bell, and so he was very excited about it. He was preparing himself, to fight. What is preparedness and excitement. And then he was going to the door, and he found that he was holding a bucket of beautiful apples that had just been picked. And the neighbor said, whatever we are rich in, we share. So what was the message? That the poor neighbor was rich in garbage. See? So you have to decide what you're preparing, and then you're spontaneously sharing. So you have to be rich in something to be able to share it forward. So we are very rich in our karmic foundation, in our blueprint, in our vibrations, in the sensations that we experience in our life, and the love and the vitality that we can share with others. And if we are rich in that, then we're going to spontaneously share it. It took you a moment to realize the story, huh, Divya?
It did, because it was just such a shock.
That he was just getting the garbage every day.
Yes.
And he thought he was going to irritate. So he said, when you're rich, you share what you're rich in.
What you're rich in.
So always remember that. This story is very, very important. I always see it unfolding in my office every single day, in every appointment that I do, that I find that people bring preparedness to their heart and they cultivate things, cultivate. And when it comes to sharing, they spontaneously share, and then they're always complaining about why is the universe so bad to us. But the reality is that what are you sharing? Because like attracts like, energy follows thought. You're also going to get that vibration. So what do you think that the rich man, why was he getting that garbage? Because on his wealth journey, there had been some, negative things that he still had to sweep out of his life. So the neighbor was being very astutely spontaneous in his sharing, but it was giving the rich man the opportunity to sweep away whatever little debris of doubt and fear and anguish and pain and poverty that he had still got left on that land where the land had given him so much. So it needed some caresses. So he was doing that. So the spontaneous aspect of life is that you have to be prepared for what it is that you're cultivating, what are the seeds that you've put in the foundation of your life, and what are the trees and the plants and the flowers and the fruits that you've grown. And that's what's going to sprout and give you the opportunity to share forward spontaneously. So cultivate good things in preparedness.
To be spontaneous.
To be spontaneous in the moment all the time. So
That's
sweet.
amazing, Ma.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't see the reality of what it is in other people's lives, and we are very, very quick to judge them. And we are always, using our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, and our skin, the seeing, the hearing, the smelling, the tasting, and the touching in very, very spontaneous ways. And we think we are being very astute. So there's a little story I once heard many, many moons ago about this train journey.
Yes.
And there was this couple who had a 20-year-old son who was hanging out of this moving train window, and he was watching in great fervor. And he suddenly looked at his father with great glee and said, "The trees are running away from us." So the father said, "Yes, son, it's very, very, very true. The trees are running away from us." And then he went back to staring out of the window, and after about another 5 minutes he turned and he said, "The clouds, they're coming with us." So the father said, "Yeah, son, very nice." So there was this couple sitting on the bench out opposite them, and they were very disturbed at that 20-year-old, responding to nature like that. So they told the mother and father of this boy that, "Don't you think you should take some proactive action and go and see a doctor? Because he really needs help. At 20, he's talking about trees running and clouds, coming with us." So the parents said, "Yeah, we're just coming from the doctor, Our son was blind and he's just got his vision back."
Oh my God.
So, people do judge others. They don't know the whole story. They don't know what we prepared for, what is our spontaneous feel in the moment, and how we are
Reacting and moving through the world.
Moving through the world, and what is our joy, what is, So instead of really getting to know other people and seeing what they're preparing, we are very spontaneous to judge. So that's why healing is so important, because when you do your healing on a daily basis, you are inviting that sustenance, that joy, that power of compassion and love into your every pore and cell and atom and molecule of your inner and outer self and in your aura. And you are actually preparing yourself to be spontaneous for the rest of the day. That you are without judgment, without sorrow, without grief, without hurt, without pain, walking with dignity through your life without complaints. And that's very important.
So if we are the couple on the bench and we're spontaneously judging others and we're judging their spontaneity in the world
as an invalid or a retarded
or a space that is not
inadequate,
that is not adequate or is inadequate, then how do we prepare ourselves to be functioning and moving through the world without this judgment and actually embracing the spontaneity of others and ourselves?
There are many episodes in life that everybody goes through. We go to school, we go to college, we go to office, we interact with other human beings, we go to the marketplace, we see how other people are doing their activity, and how you are impacting, how are you seeing interactions with other people, and how they are sharing their togetherness, or how they are quarreling, because it's always opposites, right? You could be at a railway station, you could see a young couple with 2 children who have just sufficient money to buy 1 cup of lentils with 1 chapati, and how they're cutting it into 4, and equally each of them is sharing, and in that moment having great joy of sharing and being on that railway platform and the journey of life. And then you look and you could see somebody beating up their children because they're not listening to them, and then you could look somewhere else and there could be somebody negotiating with the bookshop guy that you're charging too much for this book. And so you could see that power of compassion and sharing, and you could see the anguish of inflicting pain on somebody else, and you could also see somebody trying to shortchange or negotiate or try to get a better deal from somebody. So depending on your instrumentality in that moment, what are you an instrument of? Are you there to give pain, comfort? Of course, if you're a healer, you're going to equally give healing to all 3 situations, right? But what is your eyes really seeing? Are they seeing the anguish of the shopkeeper? Are they seeing the lack of financial ability of the person who's dying to read that book but doesn't have sufficient money? Or is it that the children are needing that discipline in a crowded place so that they don't get lost or fall off the platform, on the railway tracks? There could be so many other compulsions that could have created that situation. So as a healer, you're seeing and you're interacting with that situation to bring stability to your universe. And of course, questioning that why are you seeing, because a little bit of that sample of sharing and compassion is to be reignited in you, or that wanting to discipline others, it could be an invitation to discipline yourself. And that, buying that book could be that you are also being reminded that, to get something that you really desire, maybe you need to work harder and get more wealth into your pocket and reciprocate with the universe around you. The other day I had somebody in my office who was talking about how she has a really hard time going to office every day, and how she was thinking of quitting a job. And I said that, why are you quitting your job? So she said, I leave my house and I take the metro, and then I reach the metro station. From there I have to take an auto, and then from the auto I sometimes have to take an Uber, and then I have to get to office. So it's like a 3-point stepping forward. So I was looking at her and I said that, oh, that's such a generous journey. So she said, really? I said, yeah, can you imagine that you're paying the metro fare and then you've got that opportunity to heal all those people on the metro with you who are going and, going to a particular destination. And when you're giving that auto driver the money, you are actually empowering him to be enthusiastic about the work that he's doing. And with that money, other souls are being impacted. He could be sending his children to school or college, or he could be getting medicine for his sick mother, or, the story could be...
So many multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then when you're going to the Uber driver, you're also hearing their stories, and then you're also reciprocating, and you're giving the money, and they're also, growing the company and growing his own fortune, and everybody is happy. So I said, why don't you look at it as how you're touching so many lives instead of just meditating on how awful your life is. I said, would you like to be an auto driver? Would you like to be an Uber taxi driver? Would you like to be the metro train driver? What would you like to change yourself to? So she said, no, I've never looked at it like that. I would definitely love my job. And I didn't know that I'm impacting so many other people with my mere presence and my ability to pay. And so she immediately said that I'll keep my job and I'm going to be very enthusiastic about sharing forward. So it depends on how you're journeying with your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, and how you're speaking, how you're tasting the flavors of life, how you're connecting to the fragrance of humanity, how you're hearing the sounds of nature around you, and how you're reciprocating with what you're seeing and what you're wanting to share. And so I learned a lot from that girl's journey the other day. That's why I'm sharing. And then what is the preparedness, right? So the preparedness is that you have the effort to want to share goodness, not your discomfort, not your pain, not your anguish, not your depression, not your anxiety, because that's only going to multiply further by other people who are there. And on the principle of like attracts like, that's what you'll receive back.
So coming back, Ma, to this entire experience and the first story that you shared, that we are only going to be able to share that which we are rich in,
yeah.
And this entire guidance that you've given us, or the learning that you are imparting on us, or the lesson that we should be taking away, is that we should be prepared to share the light and share our generosity of whatever we are receiving in our universe with others spontaneously.
Yeah.
And so when we do this from a healer's perspective, you've given us the magical tool of healing, and so we can instantly share that. And then, of course, there are the more material sharings, like money, like food, like our time, like our service, our words, even our look. So how do we in the morning, or should it be that when we go to bed at night, there is a thought or an intention that we should prepare ourselves with, so that when we wake up in the morning, it's almost like we've coded something into our consciousness?
Yeah, I always give people this one affirmation, that my wisdom self is authentically reciprocating. My wisdom self is authentically reciprocating. So when you reciprocate with others, then it's your wisdom self. So at night, maybe you can repeat it 3 times before you go to bed, and you wake up with your authentic self. That's very, very wise. And you're going to do that absolute appropriate action, at least for the next 24 hours, because every pore and cell, every molecule, every membrane of your aura and your body is reciprocating with that wisdom and that authenticity. So, if you're giving someone a sandwich, you're doing it with wisdom. If you're taking the change back from that auto driver, you're doing it with wisdom, and your authentic self is grateful for this exchange of even, the money that it's a service that the auto driver is providing to you, right? So then everybody is very, very authentically wise and is moving forward. So whatever it is, that neighbor in the story with the bucket
yes,
was preparing. What was he preparing the whole day? more and more garbage.
More and more
He
garbage,
was
more-
just meditating on how he should have more rubbish, more garbage to throw in the neighbor's house to irritate him. So what was he really getting? He was getting a bucket of apples.
He was getting a bucket of apples to give him wisdom
Yeah.
and to activate his root chakra is what I understood, so that he can move to a new space of consciousness and action.
I forgot to mention that the bucket was red and the apples were green.
Okay.
So the root chakra was activated and the mind, the intelligence, so the energies of Mars and Mercury were interacting to create power for him of generosity, but in the true spirit of sharing.
Absolutely. So in that spirit of sharing, we have lovely heartfelt messages of love for you, Ma.
So sweet.
From Dr. Mona Bhatia, from Tiny Auntie, from Shubhrata, Sharmila Auntie, Preeti Arora, and of course we have Purti, and then we have Kunal joining in,
Oh, love you,
who
Beta.
says, "Good morning, Nani, lots of love to you and Didi, we love you." And many, many others. And then we have a few questions or thoughts. So
Yeah,
shall I go to those, Ma?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we also have Chandini Botre, who's it is her and her husband's, I think, 38th anniversary. So she's requesting
and lots
for
of love and
blessings.
hugs.
Yes,
That's nice.
very, very nice.
I can't believe she's been married for 38 years.
Yes.
Because she was just a young girl when I met her.
Yes, Ma.
Maybe she was just married for a few years when I met her.
I love it. Yes, Ma. And then we have Kanika M, who's asking, so how should we, if we are anxious and depressed beings, talk to people who are not anxious and depressed? Or instead of just talking, should we just send healing?
No, we should talk to them with positive things, and if we are anxious, we can share our anxiety with somebody. When we are traveling through life, people are always willing to listen. It's just that we are shy and we think that people are not interested in us, but everybody is interested, even the auto driver, even the Uber taxi driver. I think Umang was sharing with me the other day that he's taking a ride and he's chatting with them, and he can really test the pulse of humanity at large, and what is the need of the hour, and what is your spontaneous reciprocation in that moment, and how, yes, healing is a very important tool if you're a healer. But even if you're not a healer, just sending out blessings of love and sharing and telling them that you will wish well for them, you'll pray for them, is a very, very generous act. And of course, the next morning when you wake up, you should send healing and thank them. And that's why gratitude is such an important tool in preparedness. And then that generosity of gratitude in your heart makes you very spontaneous in the correct way. We can also be very spontaneous in being angry and being brutal and being obnoxious and being
dismissive and disrespectful.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, Ma, that whether it's anybody in life, but especially if people are in a service industry like an Uber driver, or even if you are going to any public
Somebody who comes
space
to work
or
in
your house, like any interaction in the socio-cultural space or even family space, that a kind word and a respectful glance, like you said, is so rare that is what we should actually prepare ourselves to gift spontaneously to others.
Yes. And so be in the moment and see what you can share with others. And remember that life is always changing. Constant change of people, moments. Even if you go to buy vegetables, it's not the same people who are buying vegetables with you today. Tomorrow it'll be some other people, and day after maybe the shopkeeper's daughter will be there to weigh the vegetables, and the next day it'll be a son. Or the woman, the wife will be there, and then the man will be there. And then you ask them, where's dad today? They say, oh, we've put another tailor, like we've opened a little smaller shop somewhere else, so dad is looking after that. So then you know that your prayers and your affirmation of authentic wisdom and wellness for them has really worked, because they are also growing and promoting, and they're ambitious to do things more for themselves and for each other. I remember once there was this very sweet marketplace where I used to do shopping for vegetables, and I would always go in the night when everybody had gone to bed and they would be closing the shops. And they used to always tell me, Didi, we are so grateful that you come at this time. And I used to wonder why. So then I asked them, so they said that, we were just thinking our hands are tired putting away the vegetables, and then whatever we haven't been able to put away, you come and you take.
Oh, wow.
So we can go to bed early.
So
they were so grateful just for that little act. So I used to think, wow, their hands were tired weighing those vegetables. Do we really thank them for it? No. We don't even give it a thought. So that's the sweetness of your generosity and how you're interacting in that time frame. And you're thanking them, and they're loving, because it's their entire life mission, to make sure that the vegetables stay fresh, and they can earn some money by buying them in wholesale and selling them in retail. And so it's hard work. Everybody's working hard. So they are very prepared with the vegetables looking shiny and bright and clean. And spontaneously you're saying, I like this one, I like that one. Give me that one.
So when we are, just a totally different question has popped up in my head, Ma, that when we are going out there in the world and saying, I like this one, or even if we are choosing something from our own pantry or our kitchen, is it a karmic connection that is calling out to us?
Yes, spontaneously. That dal that's sitting on the shelf has prepared itself to enrich your body today with the nutrition, and is calling out to you and saying, eat me today. I'm prepared to be cooked and, get in the pressure cooker with the water and the heat and the air and the pressure, and I'm going to be so delicious. And I feel that my life's mission is fulfilled.
So as our karma prepares us to reach certain spaces and places and peoples and destinations to receive, these karma packets, what is the healing intervention that then is the healing, the spontaneous divine act that then transforms our preparedness into something else?
I think we have to understand that the 5 elements are always prepared to share. The sun's light is always sharing unilaterally. It's not saying I want to hold my light from you and this one and that one. We may say, it's very hot today, so we'll put a shade. And today I'm very cold, so let the sun's light fall on me. So depending on the conditions of the environment around us, we are preparing ourselves for a consequence, right?
Yes.
And so the air is not saying that I'm going to give you these many gallons of air only. It's our ability in reciprocation and preparedness that we are breathing as we are talking and, sharing, and you're listening to me. Everybody is breathing. It's the same air. We are all on planet Earth and everybody is breathing in that. We are so very intimately connected with our breath. And the sun is also equal, right? The water that we drink is also spontaneous.
Yes, ma'am.
And the space that we create, and we are all magnetically sitting on planet Earth, otherwise we would be flying in space, right?
Absolutely.
So every element is doing its work in preparedness, but spontaneously interacting with you. It depends on how much you are taking. Are you going out in the sun? Is your body making the vitamin D? Are you reciprocating? Are you grateful? Are you drinking the water with gratitude? Are you thankful for your breath, and are you doing some pranayam? And are you bathing or drinking the water, interacting? And then you're creating space for other people also to flow in and flow out of your life. So there has to be a spontaneous ability to share what you have. And it cannot be just with things. It can be even with your thoughts. It can be with your vision. It can be with the glance, it can be with just, a very positive thought that you send out into the universe that can impact others. I'm actually reminded of a very sweet story that, there are two people. One is a little boy who goes to the beach with his dad. And on this beach, he has a bucket, again, a little bucket and a spade. And he's mixing the sand with some water, and he is spending the whole day building the castle. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's making the walls, he's making the turrets, and he's building little mountains, and then he's putting the bucket, he's making some designs. And the whole day he's taking more and more wet sand from this ocean bed, and he's walking, and then he is building his castle. And the father is appreciating, and he's very joyful, and the sun is shining, and he's very, very, very excited about all what he's doing on the beach. Now you go to the city, and there is this young person who's just come out of college, and he's also building his, connections in the office. He's got his new job. He's, trying to invest in mutual funds and some SIPs and this. And he's also planning his whole destiny. And he's also looking at building and building and building. And the same way the child is building these turrets and this wall and all, he's also building his relationships, and he's doing everything. Now, what is the difference between these two? The difference is that at the end of the day, when it's going to be high tide, the ocean is going to come and it's going to wipe out this castle that the little child has made.
Yes.
And what is the child going to do? Clap his hands and be very excited about how the ocean is taking the sand back into its bed. Right?
Yeah.
That is nature. That what you make has to be also
dissolved back from where it came.
Yeah. So now this gentleman who's built and built and built his life over time, what happens when the ocean of change and time and space and air and water and sun comes and sweeps away what he's built?
He doesn't clap his hands in joy. He's trying to hold on, yes.
And then?
And then he gets swept away too.
Yeah. So see the difference. So, you have to be that little child in wonderment. You have to build. But you have to know that as you're building, there may be some dissolving of some of the things that you do. And you plan, and, what you learn from those experiences, how you interact, how gleeful are you, how much of that water you mix in the sand, how much of everything that you do in this life. Finally, is it really yours? No. The sand belongs to the divine, the water, the air, the sun and everything, and the movement of the ocean waves. And, you find a place where it's not going to be disturbed during the day, but as soon as the evening comes, swish, the tide and the waves come nearer and nearer. And you're gleeful, you let it all go. So always be that child. Remember that whatever you build, if it dissolves, it dissolves.
So you can build again.
Does. Yeah, you can
because
build
all
again.
The elements are there to assist us.
Assist you, and you can resurrect, and then maybe you can. But remember that nowhere is safe, because finally it's your karma, it's the elements, it's the planets, it's the abilities that you've cultivated, and what you're actually building.
So then how do we be very intentional with what we are building in our life?
You should be prepared to spontaneously let it go.
Oh, wow. I think that's the mantra that I'm taking to be prepared to spontaneously let it all go. Wow.
Yeah, not to have ownership and say, this is mine out there, there's that.
Wow.
Because that's what gives you the pain.
Yeah.
So you have to be spontaneous in doing your work authentically with wisdom, And you have to constantly, I'm not saying that live in this fear that everything's going to go away, but make the right decisions that are intelligent, that are about sharing, about caring, about impregnating yourself with the wisdom of knowing that nothing is forever,
Nothing is
not
forever.
even your life. Because there's one breath and you'll be gone. So always remember that what am I doing in the moment? How spontaneous am I in looking at life with gratitude? I think that's the highest form of preparedness. That to cultivate that sense of gratitude, that you're so grateful, whatever is happening, even if it's pain your body is giving you, even if it's a headache, even if it's a lack of money, whatever it is, you can make the effort and you can prepare to do things differently so that you are spontaneous in your effort, in your knowledge, in your wisdom to share with others whatever it is that you are needing and what the others are needing. And make sure that you always have the ability to not cultivate rubbish and decay. To always have that red bucket filled with some green knowledge to share with your neighbors.
I love that, man. I love you. And so many takeaways of very practical implementations, but very meditative statements and experiences you've shared with us, Ma. So very, very grateful.
I'm always telling these little anecdotal.
But then they just stay with us, and I know that I repeat them in my head or replay them and reanalyze them, and they really assist me in the choices and preparing better and in the choices that I'm making on a daily basis. So very grateful. And with this statement that we must always be prepared to spontaneously let go of all that we have been given or we think that we have created. So then we have Kavita Mitta, who asks that, so would that be also true with relationships, that we must learn not to be so attached?
Yeah, not to be so attached and not to be always expecting, and to watch very carefully that what do you give in the relationship. Right? Yesterday I had a very sweet interaction with the girl who is always met me on Zoom. She came into my life, or she found me, like she said, after COVID started. And so yesterday she had I'd given her a personal appointment because she was yearning to meet me and get a hug from me. And so she had come with lots of chocolates.
Yes.
And so she was saying that you love chocolates. And I said, yeah, I love chocolate. And so she said, how many do you eat in a day? I said, no, it's not about how many I eat in a day. How many do I share in a day?
Wow.
So it's about receiving and then giving forward. The universe is always preparing for whatever you have to share forward. So the sweetness of life has to be spread. So, when she was leaving, she was very, very sweet, and she said that I'm so happy to have got this hug from you and, to meet you. So I was smiling when she was leaving because she had such a big bag of chocolate that I was thinking, okay, let's share them all.
Yes, Ma. So beautiful. And then we have a lot of sharing of gratitude from Madhvi, who says that, Ma, all your teachings today brings a new perspective to look at life, and instead of getting angry or irritated with spontaneity, my authentic self is in the realization and making wise decisions and healing all.
Wow, that's wonderful, Madhvi.
Yes, and then we have Chandini Botri again saying that accepting all as learning and presence and blessings of our master and teachings.
So sweet.
And then we have Mr. Ash, who joins us, who says that infinitely grateful for teaching us to clap in joy when the storms wipe out everything. At your holy lotus feet always, Ma.
Yeah, always know that there's a brand new stable ground for you to build something more that you can generously share with others. And in that making, remember that the sun rays, the water, the sand, the ocean, the father, the bucket, the spade, everything is helping.
It's helping.
And you are creating your design. You know, you're building those mountains out of nothing.
Wow.
So you have the capabilities. They're all entrenched deep in your heart. And that's the joy. So always remember, you are enabled. You're authentic and you're wise.
I love that. That gives me so many like
Quivers of vibration.
yes, and goosebumps and tingles.
Yeah.
And then we have Sanjeev Bhaiya also, who is joining in, who sends his love and
Lots of
hellos.
love.
And we have Neera Auntie, who says pranam ma. And of course Aruna and Anita, who are joining in.
Big hugs to all of you out there.
And then we have Mamta Dhingra, who shares that so grateful, Ma. We come to the collective mindfully and always leave mindful. Such transitions, Ma. Love, love, love. And she's just, I think, in a space of a lot of joy is what I can...
Gratitude.
Gratitude, yes.
Yeah, she was just in Goa building castles, right?
Absolutely.
So that's good.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have Neha and Fifi, who are also
lots of love.
sending love. And
Missing you, beta.
yes. And
Keep
then
in touch.
yes. And then we have Sonia Didi, who says, love you, Guruma.
Love you, beta.
And then we have Sakshi Chaudhary, who has that, Ma, I have a question.
Yes.
She asks, how can we implement the generosity and stay grateful within our work front, wherein we deal with competitive energies and people looking forward for progress and similar positions?
That you also bless them, that whatever they're looking for, they get. And in that process of blessing, you'll also get the blessings back that will empower you to move ahead. And I always say that water element has the capability to influence your life in a very, very major way. So even keeping a pot of water for the birds on your balcony is the greatest mahadan. Or giving a bottle of water to somebody who's thirsty. Or even spending, a little bit of time in offering water to Surya Dev in the morning with Om Grini Suryaya Namah. Just that chant, it can allow you to douse that competitive anguish about how other people are getting, better at what they're doing and you're not there. Right?
Yes.
So why would you question that? Because you're thinking that they're getting ahead of you. So fame and fortune comes from the energies of light that the planet Surya or the sun gives you. So you should also be the effulgent sun and you should invite from that funnel. Remember, right in the beginning I said
Absolutely.
that the lotus is empowering you and there's a funnel and you're pulling in that universal life force and the elements and the planets and all the nurturing energies and even the blessings of the elders. You may not know, you may be walking on the street and somebody could be just watching you and could be blessing you. How comforting is that feeling, right?
Very.
We are always looking at, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Why is that man looking at me? And, I think he has a lecherous look and, maybe he's a thief. We are very quick to judge, but it could be just somebody who's sending you generosity and gratefulness. Maybe you're wearing a very pretty outfit and they're just appreciating it. So if you connect with gratitude for everyone who's around you, you'll receive all those blessings through that funnel that will come straight down. And when they'll go straight down to your feet, they'll take you to a new destination to unfold the greatest fortune for yourself.
Yes, Mom. I'm just thinking on that's so profound, that how we misunderstand others' words and glances and intentions.
Yeah.
And so we should actually be prepared to receive in love and with gratitude.
I remember once I was buying vegetables and there was this lady who was saying that, she was handing some tomatoes to me And she was saying, these are good, these are good. So I was taking them and I was putting them in my little basket ready to get weighed. And there was a third lady who said, कि उनको चुनने दो, let her find her own tomatoes. So she said, but I want to help her.
So sweet.
So I was like so amazed that, there was this lovely exchange and this lady was showing me how to choose those really solid and very fleshy tomatoes that were really
that
good.
last at least 4 or 5 days.
And I was learning how she was picking them and she was handing them to me. And we were having a beautiful moment. I was grateful. She was loving. And there was this third lady who was saying that...
Who was judging.
Who was judging, right?
Yes.
So you could be that third lady.
So we don't want to be.
Yeah, you should always be very generous.
Generous.
Always.
And receiving with love and being generous with love.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Wow. So all the comment sections are blowing up with all lots of love and excitement and
this lovely sharing. This
beautiful.
is my personal experiences.
Yes.
You could go through life not noticing, or you could go through life noticing and they're impacting your consciousness and you're flowing with that generosity. See, that lady, it was a few years ago and I'm already remembering her and sending her love.
Yeah.
For being so helpful. And it was red tomatoes, so maybe she helped me unravel something in my root chakra and my destiny that was so proactive, and maybe I'm 100% sure the funnel on my head was open and all her sharing went to my feet and made me make choices to walk through certain pathways and crossroads where I was empowered by her blessings to take the right decisions. So
Yes.
always look at the universe, that it's prepared over many lifetimes to give you spontaneously. And you must also have prepared to receive.
Receive spontaneously.
And so you always prepare yourself by saying, I am.
My wisdom self is authentically reciprocating.
Yes, wonderful. Divya's learnt well.
Yes,
So have all of you.
Yes, Mom. Yeah. I'm just feeling so full with these lessons, Ma, and can't wait to interact with the world with this new or a higher sense of generosity and spontaneity.
Yeah.
And completely prepared, like Mr. Ash exclaimed, to clap at the waves or the storms that come. Because they are an opportunity to rebuild once again.
Yeah, not to feel sorrowful and say, oh, I've lost all my money, I'm so poor.
Yes.
No, I'm empowered. I built it, now I can build it again, and I can build it better.
Build it better. How beautiful. And that's what Divya Seth Shah also joins in and saying, my beautiful Renuma.
Love you, beta.
Yes. And we have Mamta Dhingra, who says that for all that sand will be picked up back again and new castles will again be built.
Yeah.
Yes.
By different souls caressing that same sand.
Yes.
And clapping.
And clapping.
And the waves will be so happy.
Very happy. And so, Ma, as we are always, I'm amazed that we're hurtling towards the end of today's Sunday Collective. Yeah. And so just looking at all the joyous energy, and I'm sure joyous faces on the other side, in the other parts of the world where everyone is listening in from. Yeah. And we have healing thank yous and healing requests. So I think I'll go into that. Yeah. So we have Rita Arora, who asks, Ma, requesting your blessings, love and healing for my daughter Parul and Silbert. It's their wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary. All the way to London.
All the way to London. And then we have Bhavna Gulati, who says that grateful for all the healing for uncle, for he is no longer confined to his room and he's coming out and eating his meals and interacting.
Wonderful.
And then, of course, we have Winnie Serene, who says, thank you, love you.
Love you.
And that she and Chandani are seeing silver twinkling stars around you.
So sweet.
And then we have Arpita Saxena, whose birthday it was, I think, on the 22nd of Jan. So she's requesting for blessings and for all her work-related progress. She's grateful and requesting for continued healing on that.
Lovely.
And then we have...
Happy birthday.
Yes. And then we have Mr. Vivek Abbey, who says, yes, ma'am, life is so much more beautiful because of your blessings, which are always protecting us and nudging us towards excellence and living in gratitude.
Stay well, all of you, in the holy city of Meerut.
Yes. And then we have Parshruti. I don't know if I shared that she's joining in from Vrindavan because, as you said, the holy city of Meerut. And she's also
Hare
requesting
Krishna.
strength for her work.
Lot of good fun.
Yes.
Change always creates a little bit of fear and anguish, but change is wonderful.
Wonderful. And then we have Dr. Parul Khanna, who's saying that, Ma, you have transformed my life and I am now so committed to the healing. And she's requesting special blessings for her daughter Divya, who's going to be appearing for her 10th standard boards.
Lots and lots of blessings to
all the students. Yes, that they should
Especially
really
to
rock
little
it.
Divya, yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, we have Simran Sani, my lovely sister of the heart, who says that, Ma, requesting healing for Reza's internship.
Yes, it's happening 9th of February. Don't worry.
Yes. Oh.
So sweet.
And there's a lot of gratitude. Chandani says, love you, Divya, to make this possible. My heart chakra is vibrating seeing my mama Parvati. Yes.
So sweet.
And Dolma is here today. She says, forever grateful. Love you, Dolma.
Oh, sweet. All the way from the Philippines.
From the Philippines. And then we have someone joining in whose handle ends with Lim, who says that they're so grateful, Ma, for your generosity of sharing and the teachings, and that they're very happy to be here.
Nice.
Yes, Ma.
And see you next Sunday.
We'll see you all next Sunday. So exciting. And then we have Pooja Udit Pathak, who says, good morning, ma'am. Such an empowering session. Requesting healing for my husband, Udit, who is going to Ludhiana for an important client meeting.
Very successful.
Yes.
Happy days are here for all of you because it's the planets are really changing. And somebody said, 22nd was their birthday. So I was just thinking Arpita. So Venus changed, and then we have Mercury changing on the 9th, which will take us to great new fortune and new frontiers of happiness, wellness, and the world coming back to normalcy begins from 15th of March.
Okay, wow. I love that.
So lovely.
For all of us.
Wonderful.
And then we, the person who had said beautiful wisdom, Madam Renooji, thank you so much, the handle was Gracious Grace Lim.
Oh,
that's a very sweet handle.
Nice handle.
And of course, there's Mitali, who is having many wow moments, and she's asking, so should we be a detached observer to everything?
Proactively spontaneous.
Proactively spontaneous.
Yeah, you must pick that dal, you must cook it, you must cook whatever it is in the kitchen, and and eat it too.
Yes.
Supposing that I keep telling you that you must eat more dal and you must cook the dal and you must have 2 katoris of dal every day. And if you don't do it, what is the consequence? And if you do it, what is the consequence?
If we do it, then the consequence is that we are listening to the guidance from the Guru and the universe. And so it will take us to a better space of health. And if we don't do it, then we're listening to our ego and our hardened karma that is going to take us to ill health and some great sense of disappointment.
It is that the dal in the kitchen is saying, eat me, and then just becomes dead food after a while.
Oh.
Just disconnects from you. And then you've not cooked it in that moment in time and you cook it later. It could also give you disease because it's just shut off.
Oh, wow.
So you have to be very spontaneous. That's why I tell people, don't buy too much
rations
all the time. Be very astute in buying what you're going to use it well, be grateful, and then go back to the shop and buy more.
Buy more when you need it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you may not want to eat that dal after 2-3 months, and it could be just sleeping.
And it's gone into
Slumber
samadhi,
land.
slumber.
It's not spontaneous
Yes,
anymore.
So is that happening? Like when you see clairvoyantly, Ma?
Yeah,
for
because
food?
the dals are very happy to get into the heat and the water and to be cooked and to be added with the spices and to give, and then they go into slumber mode that just put us in the earth. And then we want to be beans and we want to make new seeds of dal. We have that much power. Each of those little seeds has the power to give birth to so many more. So they've been prepared over lifetimes to be born as that seed of dal, right?
So when you're rejecting the food in your kitchen or in the world outside, then you're actually
rejecting the energy.
life, and you're rejecting the energy.
Energy of spontaneity.
Wow.
Right?
Yes, Ma.
And you're prepared to grow ignorance.
So everyone can go into their kitchens this Sunday
And clean up and start using all the things that you bought.
Yes.
And be grateful for them.
And do a lovely cook for the family or for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have a few more healing requests, Ma. Bhavna says that, ma'am, requesting healing for Shaurya to get a job at the earliest. And then we have Sonali, who says that, Ma, I need a lot of healing because I'm totally zoned out, feeling clogged, disturbed and scared. Help, Ma. This is Sonali's kitchen.
Okay.
Is her handle. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to send you lots of healing. There's nothing to be scared. You're brilliant. Your energies are coming across as very vibrant and happy. We will send you healing
lots of
to
love and
empower
healing.
you.
Yes. Very, very
Lots
true.
of love to everyone. Stay well. Big hugs. Stay comfortable. Be prepared to be spontaneous. Love you. Bye-bye.